so weird. This app shows that my credit score's pretty good, but I couldn't get the car loan.
Are you using myfico.com?
No, it's some other company.
Oh, you should get a MyFICO account instead. FICO scores are the ones used by 90% of lenders, and other credit scores can vary up to 100 points.
That would have been helpful yesterday.
Get the scores lenders use. Get the right FICO credit score for your credit goal, including your FICO scores used for mortgages, auto loans, and credit cards. Visit myfico.com or download the MyFICO app to get started today.
Today, we're joined by a young woman using her voice to encourage others across Wyoming. She currently holds the title of Miss Windy City and is competing for Miss Wyoming, and she's sharing a powerful message through her platform called Build from the Hard Things. Thanks for joining us today. Okay. Today, we're joined by a young woman using her voice to encourage others across Wyoming. She currently holds the title of Miss Windy City and is competing for Miss Wyoming, and she's sharing a powerful message through her platform called Build from the Hard Things. Thanks for joining us today. Okay. Tell us a little bit about yourself and what it means to hold the title of Miss Windy City while competing.
I'm a 19-year-old college student. I'm a full-time college student, so I'm very busy with that. But other than that, I want to be a empowerment for young women like myself. Through growing up, I experienced a lot of bullying. It made me think that I needed to change myself for others, and I realized that I have a voice too, and I need to use it in ways to help others, and that's what being Miss Windy City is to me.
You created a platform called Build from the Hard Things. What inspired that?
What inspires that message for me is that I'm able to show others that even if they have a small voice in something, they still have something to talk about, something to say. You shouldn't ever stay quiet if you have your own opinion. I think it is important to share your opinion with others. I think having some sort of backbone and building yourself up from criticism is a good thing, not holding yourself back from the opportunities you can take.
Part of your message is about overcoming bullying. Can you share a little bit about your experiences with that?
I had a lot of problems with body image growing up. I got called names, got called fat a lot. Just people say mean things when you don't look like everyone else. So being bullied kind of inspired me to show other people if they're being picked on to go out there and chase the dreams they can do and just take every opportunity you can to become the better self you can be.
Yeah, as someone with two daughters, it's something we talk about in my house a lot, how to love and accept yourself the way you are, also how to stand up to bullies. Do you want to talk a little bit about how you learned how to stick up for yourself?
I remember a lot in middle school. I didn't know how to be mean to others, and I didn't know how to, when they were mean to me, how to say something back to them, stand up for myself. And it took a lot of time to learn, a lot of trying to think about the situation before I went and attacked it. But in all honesty, I think it was those moments grew me so much. And one way that I want to empower people to do that is just, if someone is being mean, say, how would you feel if I said that to you? How would you feel if I said that to your mom, your sister, your brother even, your dad, anyone in your family? Just try to put them in your shoes and see how they feel about it.
Let's talk about internal dialogue also. How do you grow from negative feedback and talk to yourself in a way that is constructive?
I think personally, it took a lot of support. You have to have support from another person or family members, someone who you can ask questions and get their opinion on the situation. Make sure you're not in the wrong. It took a lot of just self-reflection. I did wrestling, and 80% of that is a mental state. You have to be confident before you go into something in order for you to win or you to grow in any situation. So I use that to my advantage. You have to think about what that person is saying to you. Everyone has their own flaws. You want to be able to take your own and build up from that.
Yeah, I think that's true. And with social media today, we're confronted with impossible ideals all the time. These images that have been constructed by Photoshop and surgeons. When I was younger, we would get magazines in the mail, and I remember always just being super excited to check out the magazines and see the latest fashions. The internet wasn't what it is today. It's hard to even describe. Even phones, I had a flip phone, but we didn't use social media or like scroll on our phones in the early aughts the way that kids do today. So I definitely have a lot of concerns about that with my kids as they're getting older, how it makes them feel about themselves, what their expectations will be, how they'll navigate that. So I'm curious, as a 19-year-old, how you navigate that. Faced with all the time now.
Social media is a hard thing. You look at women who are the ideal image you always have wanted, or have things that you don't have, and you're kind of jealous in a sense, you know. But you also can't compare your life to others because you've lived through so many different things than everyone else. You don't know what that person's going through from a phone camera, and they could be going through so much more than you even know, and showing the happy side of their life on social media. So that's like another thing you have to think about when you're looking at those things and trying to compare yourself to other women, is that woman might think you're the most beautiful person in the world, and you might think that about them, but you're going through different things than they are. You got to make sure you're thinking about that part of it all. And one person I look up to on social media is Spencer Barbosa. She's a body positive influencer, and she shows you what you look like posed and what you don't look like on social media. And those are two different things. Sometimes you wear your hair in a messy bun, and sometimes your hair is perfect and curled. Every woman has those days where you don't feel like doing your hair or wearing that outfit or putting on heels. You'd rather wear tennis shoes, you know.
For sure.
So I think that's an important part of womanhood, is realizing everyone is similar in that way.
What do you think your best attributes are, and where do you draw your confidence from?
My best attribute is probably my personality. I hear constantly that I'm funny, that I can help other people stay positive in a bad situation. I've got told my hair smells really nice, so that's kind of a good thing about myself. And I just try to look in the mirror every day and say, you're beautiful the way you are, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. When do you feel the most comfortable and secure with yourself?
I feel I'm most confident when I can make others laugh. I struggle a lot when someone makes a situation awkward, but I try to break that awkward silence with a little joke here and there. I try not to be such a serious person with life, because every situation you go through is different. You don't want to take everything so seriously, and I just want that for other people. I want to show them that life isn't all about being serious about every little thing.
Yeah, it's interesting. I think I was far more insecure about the way I looked when I was younger, in my late teenage years and my early 20s, which is ironic because I think a lot of people would say I was probably better looking than I am now. I don't know. I'm 32. and I'm a mom of two, and I spend a lot of time in my kitchen, in my garden, and when I'm not at work, that's where I feel the most comfortable and secure. I do find there are a lot of spaces now where people come to show off material wealth. There's a trend of keeping up with the Joneses, which is nonsensical to me because you could literally spend all your time and all your money buying things. Again, with the internet and stuff, there's no limit. You could shop all the time and still not have the coolest thing because there will be another thing out next season. So I definitely try to stay away from those glittering lures, and I'm very anti-snob. As I get older, I don't like it. I will buy something that's expensive if I think it's worth that value. But I'm wary of buying confidence. I think it has to come from within. And I don't think that your personal value is connected to what you look like or what you're wearing or how expensive your shoes are, the car you drive, or the house you live in. I think there's something a lot deeper. Yeah, sorry, I'm just rambling now. What do you think?
Oh, no worries. I think when you're at that early 20s, late teens age, you kind of feel like you're in that awkward age where you're an adult, but you're still kind of trying to blend in with those teenagers that are dressed really cute and you really want to be like them, but yet you also want to look mature and not look too young. Mm-hmm. And I think with that, you should always try to just be yourself in all attributes. If you think that teenager is dressed really cute, go dress like them. Don't worry about what other people are going to think. If you're more of a mature person and you want to dress like a grandma, like you want to do that, that's up to you. I personally am into a lot of mature fashion, older vintage things really catch my eye. Flowery patterns for some reason have always been something I really like, and I've been told a lot by other people, that's a grandma, you look like you're wearing your grandma's quilt, you know. I really love those patterns. Those are beautiful to me, but that other person who's completely different than me might think that's the most ugly thing they've ever seen. I think it's very important just to try and like your style. Be the person you want to be.
Yeah, and I think that's a good point. I've just talked to our secretary about this. It can be valuable to cultivate a wardrobe that suits you and that flatters you and that you feel good in. And chances are what looks good on you might not look good on somebody else, right? I don't think that you have to spend a ton of money to do it. You also don't have to be super cheap, right? You can have a budget that's reasonable and find garments that might last more than 6 months or one season. There's a lot of cool things now where you can rent the runway if there's a special event and it's something you just want to wear one time, and then you can get a high quality piece, but it doesn't have to just sit in your closet for the rest of time. I think there are also a lot of timeless fashions that as you get a little bit older and develop a career, it's important to go, okay, like what do I actually need? What are the staple things? For me, I wear a lot of athleisure, but I always try to keep a nice blazer in the office because you never know who you're going to meet at the radio station. You might, because we're radio, you might think that you're not going to run into anybody that might want to do an interview or something, but you just never know. And so I even keep a pair of heels in my office because often I'm just wearing sneakers and I feel pretty comfortable with that. And yet it's important to always be professional, and I like to put my best foot forward too. So I think fashion is an art for sure.
I definitely agree with that. I think you can find a great outfit at the thrift store for $5 rather than going to Louis Vuitton and spending thousands of dollars for a coat that you might wear once or twice a year.
Right.
And I think you should just dress how you're comfortable. Because in all honesty, at the end of the day, you're the only person that has to be with yourself. And if you're happy with yourself, that is the most important thing.
What are 3 virtues that you try to live by every day?
I personally think you should always smile at other people. Smiling can help them so much. Like, you can see a person's glow when you smile at them and they smile back.
It's a good reminder.
It is, yes. It's a reminder that humans can be nice. You know, kindness is a big thing. That goes in with smiling. Another thing I carry with me on a daily is I always try to put myself in other people's shoes. I want to be able to feel their feelings and kind of be empathetic towards them. I'm a very empathetic person, so I kind of feel your vibe, feel how you are feeling that day, and try to calm myself down to a point where if you're feeling sad, I can try to comfort you. Or if you're really excited, I can be excited with you and do like a really girly ee, you know. Mm-hmm. And then a third one would probably be to just try to always be myself. I want to not hide who I am for anyone.
Okay. Now, what about 3 things that are in your purse?
3 things in my bag. I have my EpiPen. First off, I'm very allergic to pineapple, and pineapple is surprisingly in a lot of things you wouldn't know it's in, like barbecues, juice. Yeah, a lot of juices.
What about cosmetics maybe?
Yeah, I've had lip gloss with pineapple juice and my lips swell with it. It's been a journey figuring out the way around how much pineapple really is in, because it's a sweetener in a lot of things. Mm-hmm.
Okay, life-saving pen.
Yeah. And then I carry my lip gloss, because you always need to have a little bit of a sparkle in your life. And I think my lips get chapped in Wyoming, so it's kind of an important thing to carry around. And another thing that I carry would be money. I like to carry around cash. I make a lot of tips, so I try to keep cash in my wallet and not just swipe my card all the time, because you save more money using cash.
I think you might be right about that. I think I've been throwing money away this whole time using my card. One example is that a lot of these small businesses now use like Venmo and Squarespace, and besides taxes, there's often a fee to use their machine, and they won't even tell you about it. You just get dinged an extra couple dollars here and there, but it does add up, and it makes a big difference over time. So I need to start carrying more cash too. I always think that.
Yeah, I went to Denver on Saturday, and a lot of places will charge you more for using your card than just giving them cash. They're like, oh, we'll take away our tax because they don't have pennies anymore. So they're trying to get rid of that completely.
If there's someone that's been bullied that's listening to this right now, what would you like them to hear?
I want them to hear that they are a person too. They are able to have a voice. They are able to keep moving forward. That doesn't define who they are. They can be authentically themselves. They are allowed to dress a certain way. They are allowed to be a little goofy sometimes, funny, you know. If they are bullying you, look them in the face and say, everybody has their own flaws. I am able to be myself. And try to just reflect on the things they're saying about you and try to think about where they're coming from. Because bullying, sometimes they aren't meaning it to just harm you. They're trying to make you fit in a way. And you don't always want to just like completely stray away from what they're saying. Sometimes they're just giving you criticism because maybe they're insecure about themselves.
Right.
and they are jealous of something that you have, because everyone has their own, like, perfect self. You know, you got to be your own reminder about that.
It never ends. I mean, when I get negative feedback, and I do, I try to analyze where it's coming from, and I'll give myself the benefit of the doubt sometimes and just assume that they're having a bad day. But if it's feedback that's negative that I agree with, then I can be constructive and go, okay, how can I do better, be better? But bullying is when, almost like when someone's like taking something out on you. Maybe they're feeling insecure, you know, and that is something, it's just so important people learn to recognize it, and you get familiar with it when it's happening. It's like a type of bullying, right, where people are picking on you and they're just trying to make you feel bad. I think whenever you put yourself out there, you are opening yourself up to criticism. So it's important to be vaccinated against that a little bit by having a little bit of confidence and figuring out who you are before you put yourself out there. Do you know who you are, and can you stand up for yourself and some of the things that we've been talking about? It's very important to have a little bit of confidence in yourself. What do you think about that?
Yes, and people will always prey on your downfall. It's something that is constantly happening. You want to show them that because of that, you're going to do better than what they can think you're going to do. You're always going to take that next step forward and try to prove yourself in a way.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I think that's right. And it's interesting. You can be selective about the people that are around you all the time. Sometimes you'll be in situations where you got to be around unsavory characters, but you can choose your friends and your support system. And so don't be around people who are negative all the time. That's my advice anyway. I think I'm a lot more drawn to people who want to fill my cup and people who I want to cheer them on, and we build each other up instead of tearing ourselves down. And I think the same goes for even social media. Like, be careful what you're looking at and who you're following. I try to follow people who have something that I want that's attainable, people who inspire me. Inspiration is so underrated.
Yes, I totally agree with that. There's definitely those people who just, you can feel the good energy coming off of them in a way. Like, you can just be totally yourself around them and there's no judgment whatsoever. And those are the people you want to stick around, you know. Mm-hmm. And in high school a lot, I experienced a lot of wave of friends. Like, I'd have so many, and then I'd realize, ooh, they aren't for me. So I'd move on to the next friend group and the next friend group. And I realized through that time, like, I'm meeting those few people that I really, really want to stay. But then there's some, and then I'm like, I need to back away a little bit and just take a moment and have them live their own lives and figure out what they need to be doing for themselves. And that's a hard thing to recognize when you're 14 years old and it's just you're freshly in high school, not knowing what's going on or who's going to be your best friend or your maid of honor at your wedding. That's kind of a hard thing you're just trying to figure life out at that time, and no one ever has life figured out.
I mean, when I start to think I've got everything figured out, it all changes. That's how it goes for me. I think something else that we haven't touched on yet is, in a non-creepy way, I think being friends with yourself is important. So it goes back to that positive self-talk, but figure out what you like about yourself. And that's how you can get more confidence too, is just going like, okay, well, what do I enjoy doing and what am I relatively good at? Ultimately, at the end of the day, you're stuck with you. You can't get rid of yourself unless you're gone. So, and even then, it's unclear.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I think being your own friend is the most important. You want to be the image of yourself in the mirror that you want to be. Like, you look at yourself and you're like, who do I want to be? Everyone asks themselves that question growing up. Everyone asks themselves that all the time. It takes a second to reflect on that, but maybe you should just step into what you want to be. Take those opportunities. Be around those people who will push you to be your best self. Go meet those people. Connections are a big thing. You want to connect. Connections are what can get you so far. And millionaires would say that too. They wouldn't be where they are without connections, without talking to people and learning and understanding. And that is something I've really learned, is that people are important. Don't just go on yourself and kind of try to like be in your own corner all the time. Going out and talking to those people and having those crazy conversations, or being like, oh, hey, where do I know you from? You know, those small conversations turn into something big and can inspire you to do so much with your life. And that's something that I think Built from the Hard Things is going to do for others, is you can take those struggles and learn from other people that life isn't just constantly about yourself. Other people are going through worse things.
Oh, I love that, Tearah. Folks, that's Miss Windy City competing for Miss Wyoming soon. So maybe next time we talk, she will have a new crown. And if you'd like to listen to more podcasts, you can find them at k2radio.com. Click the Listen tab and then On Demand.
And now an ode to play, brought to you by Scratchers and the California Lottery Philharmonic.
Take a time out from your busy day for a quick moment of play. Get some scratchers, then get scratching. You deserve it, won't you say? Scratch, 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 scratchy, 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 scratch, scratch. Feel the play and up your game. Scratchers from the California Lottery. A little play can make a day.
Please play responsibly. Must be 18 years or older to purchase, play, or claim.